where did the idea come from?
So the idea came from a broken suitcase. I was traveling, my bag exploded in Zurich airport. It's quite embarrassing. And when I got home, I asked my very stylish, very well-traveled group of friends for a recommendation. And I've literally the most annoying friends. They have recommendations for everything. And nobody had one. I think, people who were on planes every single week, they're like, oh, I actually don't know what brand I have. Or they're like, I got this as a gift or as a hand-me-down from my mother. And it really got me thinking about how just in the luggage landscape, everything was either super expensive and not very practical, or more affordable, but you knew it was going to break. And I chatted with Steph, who's now my co-founder, about it. And we also realized that there was a gap in the market for a travel brand that really thinks about travel the way all of us in this room do, and a travel brand that cares about experiences and not just the actual product itself. So I think those two things, thinking about the gap in the market for a specific product and then the brand that didn't exist, really led us to create Away to what it is today. Everybody else, otherwise, why would you be the boss? And I think Steph and I learned really early on that the way we could succeed faster and do better as a team is just through humility. We know our goal is to just hire people who are way better than us in the things that they do. And I think that's a huge part of our culture. We hire people who are experts at what they do. For example, our team that works on content and influencers, I think rivals any influencer agency out there, but they just get to work on our brand the whole time. And because of that, we've just built these amazing pockets of really deep talent in the organization, and we just empower them to run with it. And I think people talk a lot about empowerment in internal cultures, but for us, we don't want someone to start Away and say okay, what do you want me to do? We want them to be telling us what we should be doing in their field, and we've done that from the beginning. So exhausting in the beginning, but it's really become ingrained into our culture where when it was just the two of us, it was easy because I had the things that I was an expert at and she had her things. So if there's a big decision in any of those departments, the person in charge of it just got to make the decision. As the company grows, obviously people bring a lot of different perspectives to the table. And the way Steph always explains it is we're all smart people with the same goal. And that goal is to do whatever is in the best interest of the company. So she has this thing where literally nobody leaves the room until they agree. And it's because in practice, it's really tiring. But in theory, if you think about it, it's the only reason that two people are disagreeing is because they have a different set of information. So everyone just puts all their information on the table. And it's worked every time. I mean, when she first explained it to me, I was like, are you joking? But it works, and I think people have walked out of rooms at Away just with a completely different perspective than when they came in.
Yeah, so this is the beauty of prototypes. So I think there's you can design with the most research and the best intentions, and you think you really know what's good for your customer, but it's really all about perception. And if they don't perceive what you've designed in the way that you designed for it, then it really does not matter. So for example, when we were designing the shell of our hard shell suitcase, we worked with polycarbonate, which is literally the material that fighter jets are made out of. It's super lightweight, it's indestructible. Perfect. We knew we wanted to design it to have a little bit of give so that even though it's a hard shell suitcase, people could still pack their clothes inside. We also knew that if we made it really hard, it was more susceptible to cracking if a baggage handler threw it on the ground. So we had all these insights. We thought we knew what was best, and we designed this shell that had a lot of give. It was really flexible, and then we tested it with a focus group, and they were like, "Oh, this feels cheap and it's flimsy," and we're like, this is literally the most expensive thing we could have done. I was like, what do you mean? And I think it just goes to show, I mean, it's like, and, you know, we're lucky that, you know, we had that group and we were doing that research. If we had gone out to the market with that, we're not there to explain to every customer as much as we want to be. Like, we can't explain to every customer the thinking and the intention and the design behind what they perceive as like cheap material is actually super expensive and took a really long time.
There's just a huge gap in the travel space. You know, everyone loves going on vacation, taking trips, but the actual companies involved in the travel space pretty much suck from a brand perspective, whether it's like, you know, they just don't care about the experience, and there's just a big gap for a brand that thinks and talks about travel and experiences the way we travel, the way a lot of you people in the audience probably like to travel. Since we've launched, we've kind of been called, you know, what is the holy grail of marketing buzzwords, a lifestyle brand, and it's because from day one, we've really thought about context and storytelling. If you think about other luggage companies out there, they'll have imagery that's all about zippers and wheels and materials and doesn't give you any context on what this luggage is supposed to help you do better or what it enables you to do. So from day one, we wanted to take a different approach, even if it was just starting with our first photo shoot and our imagery. Business, just because I didn't, long story. But then if you like measure success by what you wanted to be like when you were younger or what you studied in college or like what the next step was after your first job, like by all of those measures, like I'm a complete failure. But it's just like you have to realize that I just like followed my curiosities, and it wasn't like there's even people that work at Away. Like we have an amazing team. There's like 150 mostly amazing, like mostly women. They're all amazing, and then sometimes they'll be like, well, I'm really interested in doing this, but I know like the next step after this job is this, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's not like you start your career and there's like, here are the next 5 jobs you have to have. And if that's the way you look at it, you're never gonna do what you love. I think a lot of it had to do with I'd always, you know, I'd worked my way up in a lot of different companies and always grown businesses for other people. And that was really exciting to see and really great experiences to learn from. But it kind of instilled something in me early on where I didn't feel like I could ask for something for, I guess, for fear of rejection or just for fear that they would say no. And I think when you set out to start your own business, you realize that if you don't ask, you're not going to get it anyway. Yeah. So just going out there and just really putting ourselves out there. And I think that's how we've been able to partner with, you know, not just our manufacturer and our investors, but a lot of the brand and celebrity partners that we've worked with. You know, we would go in there and brainstorm, okay, here's our ideal investors, here's our ideal celebrity to do a partnership with. And we're like, okay, let's ask. I mean, if they say no, then they still won't be your partner. So it's worth just asking.